All right, so we have our problem written. Now remember that we're going to set the scene now. You are more than welcome to move this over to the side. So remember how we can make it skinnier. I'm going to make it skinnier and longer. And I'm going to move it over to the side for now so that I can set my scene. You are more than welcome to leave it here while we set our scene as well. So think about what your scene and your story has in it. So mine's an elf. He's making toy trains. So where would he be if he did that? Probably like a toy workshop. So that's what I'm going to make, a little toy workshop. And he's making them for kids at Christmas, and he needs to make more toy trains and conductors. So I'm going to set a little scene where there's an elf, he's in a workshop, and he has toy trains and maybe a toy conductor around him. Now, do I need to make sure there's 20 toy trains in my picture? No, this is a picture to support the story. It's not an exact workplace. I could definitely try to make a workspace so people are doing the problem in this, but this is just a combination of art and math, kind of. We're making a little scene for our word problem. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to change my background. So first of all, I can right click if you remember, and just a quick reminder, you kept this open so you can always go back and look at the different skills. So how can I change the background? So just remember that those skills are there. Change the background is right click, and I set my background. Actually, he's not outside, so I don't want it to be a sky. He's in a Christmas workshop, so maybe green. And remember, we're going to add things like pictures like our elf, insert image, search the web, elf. And if you remember, PNG. All right, so this is when I start to add the important details. So my elf, this looks like a great elf to add in. Let's see if he's a PNG. Look, no background. So this will be Tinsel. There we go. And he's working in a toy workshop with trains. So I need some sort of workbench. So I'm going to add a couple details myself. So yours are going to be different. I'm not going to walk through all of this. I'm going to add in maybe a workbench, some trains, and some conductors. And I'm going to pause it now to do that. And then we'll show you what to do next. All right, so here's a great thing. I added a workbench. I searched for workbench PNG. I added a train PNG. But you know what? I can't find a good picture of a conductor. I don't like any of the pictures of conductor dolls. So let's say he needs to make 65 more toy trains. But instead of conductor dolls, just remember you can always switch this. So he's going to make 13 teddy bears. I know I can find teddy bears, and I know that kids love teddy bears, so that's what I'm going to change it to. He needs to find 13, so I'm going to highlight this, delete it. 13 teddy bears. All right. And I also don't like he needs 65 more toy trains made and 13 teddy bears. I'm going to instead change it, he needs to make. So do remember that you can adjust and edit, just don't change your math story too much. So he needs to make 65 more toy trains and 13 teddy bears. So now I can add in my teddy bears. See, I couldn't find a good train conductor. So just remember, you can always change your story at any time. All right, so one of the other things is I'm going to send this to the back. Remember, you have all of those skills that we talked about. Do you need to use every single one of them? Not at all, okay? You always have this to refer to help you remember, but you do not need to use every single one of the, oh, I accidentally put a border on him. Transparent means I remove the border. You don't need to use every single one of these tools. All right, so now I have my main details. I have tinsel, I have my toy trains, and I have my teddy bears, and I kind of have the workshop where he's making them. Now I can just add some extra fun detail myself so that it looks more like a workshop. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm probably going to add things like a Christmas tree in the background. Maybe I'll use some shapes to build a Christmas tree. Maybe I'll find a picture of it. I'm also going to add things maybe like a door and a sign that says Santa's Workshop. I think that's my plan. But this is just to add that extra detail to set our scene and make it look a little more like our story. So here I go, the magic of video. I'm going to pause and do that now. All right, so I've added in my extra little detail. I have things like present PNGs that I put in, a signed PNG. I have some word art that I put in. I have a star that I made with the polyline tool. I have a Christmas tree that I made with shapes. So now I've kind of set the scene. Remember, you don't need to go crazy with this. The most important part is the word problem up at the top. The picture is great, and we're using Google Skills for it, which is absolutely fantastic. But just remember, the point here is to make a math problem with a cute little scene ready to go for your friends to try out. But now I'm ready to move on to the next step where I'm going to test my problem out myself and then eventually share it with a classmate.